Josue, we're going to continue on with the movement assessment by looking into a more dynamic, our more dynamic movements, our synchronized walk and synchronized run. This is important because a high volume of our life is spent walking and then running. And so we're going to look at first your ankles and your hips and their movement, how they're synchronized together along with the spine. And we're going to first look at the arch of that right foot. And we have you about to land on your right foot. So we're going to speed this up a bit and get you right now on your right foot. So we have a couple steps in. And let's just take a look at this landing. Again, we're landing with our feet pointing outwards. This is something that we saw both in our standing posture and in the squat and hinge. And so as we're about to land, it seems like we do land a bit on the outside of our blade of our foot, and I could see now that we do drop into our ankles. So our ankles are collapsing. We can see that right there. Even if we undo this a bit, we can see that we don't have that good maintenance. And so we're dumping into our right ankle, collapsing in there. And so the right arch is not maintained. Does the right leg load out and release in? Let's see how, I'll pull this down a bit, how we're landing. It looks like we have a collapse into our knee when we collapse into that right foot. So that right foot's pointing outwards. The knee is a bit external, and we're going to release now, trying to see if we're releasing in, and we can take a look at that by our ankles, by our heel. And we see that the heel is not releasing inwards, that the hip is not releasing inwards, because we're seeing this heel, we're seeing this heel not pull away and rotate internally from the hip. We're seeing an opposite reaction. We're seeing this ankle drive inwards, which is going to pull us into that front body. And let's see how this continues through, and we could see it driving inwards. We have that external rotation on our right foot, lands, and it's just the collapse there on our right ankle. Let's take a look at our left foot, and let's see if the arch of our left foot is maintained. So we're about to get into the landing now. We're going into our striking with our heel, going a bit to the outside edge. I could see that ankle seems decently strong there, and then it starts to collapse. So on this frame here, it starts to collapse. Our left foot is landing straighter than our right, but we collapse right into our left ankle. We could see that collapse right there. We could see this line. We see how we're collapsing into our inner ankle. And we're seeing our left leg is landing, seems to be in a bit of a bow. We're almost wanting to go internal. See on that release we have on that left, the heel doesn't pull in nearly as quickly as the right. And then at this frame here, then we start not internalizing our hips. We're not releasing in. And then we'll see how we land again. And the collapse of the ankle and our knees just not rotating in. So I think that's preventing us a bit into getting into a stronger load, stronger left leg and right leg that'll load out. So it's, we're compensating into our front chain right there. It's limiting a bit of access into our backside. I'd like to see this from the front really quick. See if there's anything we can catch here. And also I'd like to look at his, the movement that he gets into with his spine and his head. Is there head and spine control? But let's look at these knees, look at these ankles and these hips, sorry, a bit more. So we see him about to land with his left foot, collapses. You can see how he rolls into his inner foot. And we can see this knee just collapses in as well. This knee and this ankle, they're collapsing in. And now let's take a look at his right foot. Or how does this left foot release actually? It does want to have some rotation in. I can see it right there. It wants to have some rotation in, and then it kicks out. That left foot was always straighter than the right on the squat. Now let's see how he does on his right foot. His right foot not releasing inwards, going external, dumping into his front body. Corrects a bit, still landing outward, but it looks like on his outside edge, and then he collapses. You collapse, and you collapse on both your ankles. Right collapse, left collapse, and right collapse. Releases, trying to go internal, loses it, and on his right foot, dropping in to your front. So we can see that we have these collapses. We're collapsing here. We're collapsing into our ankles, and our hips are almost constantly in this external rotation. I want to see your spine and your head and see how type of control that we have going on there. And so draw a center line. And we're going to see if we are able to bob and weave. And we see our right step, and we're going into our right side, and we can see if you're over your foot, let's do that. Yeah, you're basically right over your right foot. And then our left side. We don't quite make it over our left foot. Not as much as we do when we when we go into the right. And that just makes me think of when your shoulder was slanted to your right. On your squat, you seem to dump a bit into your right. So it seems like we're favoring our right a bit. And then consequence, our right foot seems to be a bit more external on our release. Now let's go into a run. Let's see what we can capture here. Taking your left step. Let's see, there we go. Taking your left step, we can see here as we were going in reverse, but you land and you have that good shape in your ankle, and then you dump. We dump pretty strongly into our left ankle, and we're going to see the release. And here we're trying. You have that heel isn't nearly that bad right there on the release, and then quickly, as soon as you release from that frame, we drop into our front. We have just all outward rotation. We can see that. See your ankle is dropping in. That's pulling your hip to go external. And so we're just driving in our front chain right now. What we want to try to do is get our hips back, have this ankle internal, rotating, releasing in, and our hips back, and we're going to start that corner. We'll just start cornering. Now let's see, we get into that right foot's landing, and I can see it collapse. Right there, collapses. Collapse. This release, clearly not favoring any inward rotation, and we're just going all external, dropping into our front line of our body. Front side of the body. This release. But on the left, again, dumping into that ankle. See how we look on our forward, and we'll take a look at our spine a bit. Let's get you here. Your right foot is released. See, it's dumping in. And then we're able to correct it right here. And we correct a bit. We dump into that inner right ankle. Release. Heels dumping in, ankles dumped in. We're into our front body. We're gonna land in somewhat of like a collapsed bow, not really too external either, not loading out very strongly. Not loading out very strongly on that left. We're driving with our glutes, with our hips, pulling our hips back. We'd see our knee landing a bit more external. Right now we have our knee collapsing, ankle collapsing, not landing in a bow. Left foot release, right foot release. Dumping in, left foot also collapsing in, all external, no internal rotation on this right hip. So we can work on just cleaning these little, seeing where we're dominant at, then we fall dominant a bit into our front chain. But overall, like, I think your patterns aren't relatively too shy away from getting cleaned up. We do have that spinal movement. See this release here. We got that chest pointing out, that head. It's definitely moving. Definitely moving. Let's see how we do there. Head moving. Chest is open towards our left side. Spine moving again. Chest is open in our right side. So we have that sway, we have that movement. That spinal engine is moving. We just need to clean up a bit these feet, get you out of our front body a bit, clean up our stance, and I think strengthen up our feet, our ankles a bit, and work on that internal rotation. But overall, it was a good assessment. You have some very favorable movements.